Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne. Please excuse me for my cough. If I cough while I do this, I've got a bad case of the flu and a really bad cough. Um, this is uh, 12 things I've learned about heaven. Uh, I've been doing a series called Visiting Saints in Heaven, where I've been visiting particular saints in heaven for half an hour and recording an interview on Zoom to be made into a video. I've done, I think, 9 of them so far, and I'm going to do 20 interviews for the book. It's going to be called Visiting Saints in Heaven. But in the interviews, I've been learning things about heaven, and it's put me in really good spirits, and I'm really happy. I'm really so much more looking forward to heaven now than I ever was. And um, I imagine that's why Kat Kerr has got such a ministry talking about heaven. The more you know about heaven, the more it makes you want to be sold out and makes you look forward to heaven. So these are 12 things, 12 things I've learned about heaven in my interviews so far. And the list isn't exhaustive. There's more things about heaven than this. But here are 12. Number one, the regular Christian in heaven is celebrated. I've really come to the thorough knowledge that regular Christians, just common everyday Christians, Christians that weren't part of the fivefold ministry of apostles, prophets, pastors, evangelists, and teachers. They didn't have any ministry function. They didn't do any extraordinary Christian works. They weren't big givers to the ministry. They're just regular Christians that went to church on Sunday, possibly a Bible study on Wednesday, read the Bible from time to time, and prayed from time to time. They're just common Christians who do their best to become a Christian, to be a Christian and act in Christian ways. They're celebrated in heaven. Those average Christians are really celebrated. And another thing about heaven is that the superstars of the Bible, Paul and Peter and Mary Magdalene, they're all in service industries. They're all serving. A true function of an apostle is to be a servant, to give your life as ransom to many. A true friend lays down his life for his friends. True love is to lay down your life for your friends. And a true apostle should be a servant, not an overlord, someone looking over people. So I've been encouraged to find what the apostles are doing in heaven, and that they weren't anyone special in heaven. They're special people, but they're not hailed as heroes in heaven. The common person is treated with a lot of respect and dignity in heaven. So that's the first point. Second point is everyone in heaven gets to do what they want as a career choice, career-wise. They get to do what they want. So you may have been on Earth and had to become an electrician, or had to work in an industry because your dad did it, or it was easy for your family, or you got an apprenticeship when you're young and you worked in that job most of your life. But you did like cooking, and you're interested in cooking. You used to cook the meals at home instead of your wife. We're talking about a male here. And but you had a real interest in cooking, and you would have liked to try your hand at being a chef, but you never got around to it. Life gets in the way on earth, and bills and responsibilities get in the way, and we don't always have the freedom to be able to serve as an apprentice on a low wage and support a family. So many people don't get to do what they wanted to do. And you can go to heaven and go to a trade school in heaven and learn to be a chef. And you can work as an apprentice in restaurants in heaven, and then eventually get cooking skills that you can open your own restaurant in heaven and own your own restaurant. And that's true of every trade. You can learn to be a florist. You can work with florists in heaven and go to trade school and learn how to be a florist. And then become so good at being a florist that you can open your own store and have your own clients. Yeah, so you can do whatever you choose to do. You can't choose to do nothing. You can't choose to be lazy. There is no, one of the saints said it yesterday, there is no laziness in heaven because everyone's engaged in doing something that they want to do. Point number 3, everyone in heaven gets mentored by Jesus once a week. So Jesus can expand time. He can spend 5 hours with you, but it'd only be 10 minutes in heaven time. So Jesus can expand and shrink time. So you can spend 5 hours time with him, mentoring you and teaching you things each week. But in heaven's economy, it's only a couple of minutes. Time has elapsed in heaven, and Jesus can do that. So I've had several saints say that you can meet up with Jesus once a week, and you can see him in public settings also. So Jesus personally mentors people in heaven, and it's an important thing. It's important to have a focus on Jesus. And in heaven, you learn from Jesus direct, plus the culture of heaven imbues you with a knowledge of Jesus and a knowledge of the kingdom. So everyone gets personally mentored by Jesus. Point number 4, everyone in heaven gets on with each other. You have supernatural sort of prophetic understanding in heaven. The Holy Spirit speaks to you, and you have the gifts of prophecy in heaven. So you can discern someone's character and their past and their potential just by looking at them in heaven. You can look at someone and know them in a real complete way. And so it makes conversation really easy. There's no real strangers in heaven. And everyone in heaven gets on. Everyone, there's no cliques in heaven. There's no special groups. There's special groups in heaven, but there's no special class of people. Everyone gets on and loves each other. So there won't be loneliness in heaven. There'll be times where you can spend time alone, but there won't be loneliness in heaven like there is on earth. I struggle to maintain friends because of my supernatural lifestyle. People don't understand me. and I freak people out, always talking to saints and talking to my dead mother and my dead father. And it sort of freaks people out to hear that I'm still communicating with my parents in heaven. And deep revelations from Jesus affect people because they don't believe in them. I think they're weird and I've got a mental illness. So I've got many reasons why I haven't got a lot of friends. And but in heaven, I know that everyone will want to be a friend, and it'll be a lot easier life for me up there. And there'll be so many people that want to talk about the deep things of Jesus with me. Point number 5. Each person in heaven has a inner knowing of other people. Yeah, so we've covered that. Everyone in heaven understands people on a basic level. They've got understanding about who you are and where you're coming from and what your potential and your future is. And you can learn that in one glance. So you can go on and have a conversation and ask questions about the things you see in a person, and you can develop a closer and closer friendship. Point number 6 is the least can become the greatest. You may have been a nobody on earth, just someone who was private and was an intercessor and was used by the Lord to intercede for people and nations. You may have been a real prayer warrior in heaven. You may be someone great. You may meet thousands of people that were saved because of your prayers, and those people will really appreciate you. But you can go to heaven and be that person who trains to be a chef and become one of the best chefs in heaven. You can be the least of people and become great in heaven. Heaven has got the ultimate opportunities because there's no greed and money controlling everything. Anyone can ascend to a place of importance. Point number 7. There's competition in heaven. Each week in heaven, if you haven't read my books or listened to my videos yet, each week in heaven, all the musical artists release a song, one of their songs, one of their singles, and all the artists in heaven have the music played over the airways of heaven, and everyone in heaven votes between 1 and 10 for the song, and the votes are collated, and the top 5 highest scoring songs play in the throne room each week. Number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1. The number 2 and number 1, when they play the worship song, Jesus sings a duet and rehearses a duet to sing with the singer. So you lead worship in the throne room with one of your songs and you sing it, but if it's the second or first place song, Jesus will sing the song with you in a duet and you'll rehearse that. You've got contemporary songs in heaven and a worship chart. Contemporary songs are more ballads, or like contemporary artists have songs. And so there's 2 music charts every week, and you may get song number 555, and over the years you'll get it down to number 50 and number 30, number 20, and there's thousands of people you're competing with. So the competitions are fair, and everyone in heaven listens to your song and votes on the song. And there's a lot more about a collaboration website where other people suggest changes to your songs, and you can learn that a process in my book, Visiting Saints in Heaven, when it comes out. But there's competitions in everything. There's competitions in baking. There's competition in house building. There's competitions in architecture. There's competitions in mathematics. There's competitions in everything, and they're healthy competitions, and they all spur people on to become greater. Point number 8, everything in heaven is free. So you can have a wardrobe of clothes that are all free. You can get all your free clothes and throw them away, I guess, or put them in a charity store in heaven, a second store, and I guess they exist. And you can take them in there and exchange it and go to other stores and get new clothes. You can just completely replace your wardrobe. But everything's for free. You don't pay rent, you don't pay utilities, you don't pay lighting or gas, or you don't pay for the internet, you don't pay for clothes or shoes, or you don't pay for restaurants or movies. You don't pay for anything. And because of that, the pressure for living on earth is taken away. There's so much pressure and money on earth. And because people have chosen to love God with their life, the money is taken away. Jesus said famously that you can either choose to serve God or mammon. Well, mammon is taken away in heaven. There is no money in heaven, and everyone serves God in heaven. So everything is free, and it just takes the pressures of life away, and it frees up your time. If you don't have to go to work for 40 hours or 50 or 60 hours a week to pay your mortgage, you can go to work to enjoy work and do something that you love. Point number 9, there's no stress of earning a living and paying for a living in heaven. So we've covered that, but there's no stress. Everything you need, everything you could possibly desire is there for you in heaven. And because you're led by this Holy Spirit, and there's no sin as greed or gluttony, because there's no gluttony, eating too much, or there's no sin called greed, wanting so much, and there's no selfishness, you can get things for free and not hoard them, and not want all the best for yourself and climb over people to get what you want. The cost of living is free, and heaven just asks that you contribute to its economy by doing a job. But more importantly, it's a job that you want to do, that you've always wanted to do. And it's a job that fulfills and makes you happy. There's some jobs like being a doctor. You wouldn't need to be a doctor because there's no sickness in heaven, but there's people that transition from earth to heaven that need help with transition and counseling. So doctors could help people that way, but there's certain lawyers and litigation and suing people doesn't exist in heaven. So some part of the laws aren't broken in heaven. So lawyers aren't really needed. We could live in a world without lawyers. Hey, wouldn't that be a good world? So point number 10, the great people of heaven are the people guiding you into a more mature life. So the Apostle Paul's and the Apostle Peter's and the Mary Magdalene, the great mystic. Um, they're there to serve you and better you and improve you and mentor you. Um, they're not there to lord it over you or be any heroes. And um, I'm told by the saints that there's a lot better people in heaven than the Apostle Paul and Apostle Peter now. There's people with reputations far exceeding their reputations. Um, there's unknown people from centuries gone past that they got to heaven and they really excelled in the Christian faith, and they've become real leaders there. Um, Jesus didn't joke when he says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. There's a lot of people that left earth and they were in last position, but now they're in first position in heaven. And there's a lot of people that were first on earth and had the greatest positions that have been demoted in heaven. The great people of the Bible will be guiding you and mentoring you and not lording it over you and not being superstars. We've got such a wrong concept on earth, having superstar preachers and superstars in Hollywood and superstar models and superstar this. And it's this idol worship that we do, and we do it in the church too. And it's not godly. It's not really edifying, and that's done away with in heaven. Point number 11: intimacy with Jesus grows each week in heaven. So people grow in their intimacy and their relationship with Jesus each week. People get stronger and stronger. I'd studied for 30 years on the Bible, and studied the prophets and studied the Bible for 20 or 30 years and developed my knowledge that's helped me write 80 books. And my mother was in heaven for 7 weeks and she surpassed me. She wasn't a big study of the Bible, and she wasn't as vigorous as me, and she'd passed me. I did a video where she preached a message and she was preaching it better than me. And I knew that my mother had caught up to me, and that was in 7 weeks in heaven. So you really grow in heaven. You really reach great heights in heaven. And some people that have been in heaven for 30 years or 50 years or 100 years are light years ahead of any pastor or any person that's preaching on earth. And their wisdom and their knowledge and their understanding and revelation just far surpasses everyone on earth. Point number 12 is 30 years in heaven can't be compared to 30 years on earth when it comes to spiritual growth. Like I shared about my mother, she overtook me in 7 weeks in heaven. She overtook 30 years worth of knowledge of my own, and she did it in 7 weeks. And so she's been up there 3 years now. So she far surpassed me. She'd have to dumb down her messages to talk to me about scriptures. I feel like such a dummy compared to my mother now, but she never talks to me in that way. She's always encouraging and edifying. So there's some things about heaven, and it's something to look forward to. It's something to follow. I've got a playlist on heaven. I've got a playlist on YouTube with my new book getting recorded on video called Visiting Saints in Heaven. If you go to my YouTube channel and search under playlists, there's a playlist currently getting filled with 1 to 2 videos a day, and soon enough there'll be 20 videos there, and you can watch that playlist and find out more from the saints. So if you enjoyed this video, please press like, and if you really enjoyed it, please share the video. Like and subscribe to my channel if you choose. God bless you.